All right, so I had this really great class. It really restored my faith in this whole thing, man. This whole case, right? So she's a lawyer, like she's a legit lawyer. She graduated from law school and all this stuff. She's like, "Wow, that's really interesting. Can we talk about that instead of the PPT?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah." So basically, you wrote a book about this whole thing. I was like, "Yes." You're actually interested in hearing about it? Oh yeah, that's really interesting. All right, so let's start with the Hippocratic Oath, right? What's the Hippocratic Oath? And she asked her husband. I don't know what the job of the husband, and yeah, that's the do no harm thing. Yeah, it's the Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath means do no harm, right? Don't put a pessary in a woman. What is a pessary? It's a birth control pill. It's the IUD. That's exactly what it is. It says it right there. Don't put a pessary in a woman, right? And what does she do? She puts a pessary in a woman, and she does harm, incredible harm. I don't have the kind of heart to do that kind of stuff, right? She's an evil. Not a doctor at all. Right? This person is extremely dangerous, right? So to warn the next generation. I am not interested in gaining followers and likes and stuff. I'm interested in getting my voice out there for the next generation because clearly this generation is so whack. They will never understand my train of thought. But you know how I know that my train of thought is valid and the probative value is 100% is because I just talked about it with his lawyer and she's all like, "Yeah, what you're talking about makes 100% sense." Right? She agrees, and then the husband I think was listening, and I was like, "Yes, that is true." Right? What? So the duty of care owed to the patient, right? The duty of care owed to the patient is to number one understand that these 14 and 15 and 16-year-old girls don't have the brain development to be able to understand the mechanism of action, right? What does the prescription actually do? And that is cause the death of the fully formed embryo, right? The embryo will die at the very healthy natural stage of implantation. But then she's going to go ahead and pervert a pregnancy, the meaning of a pregnancy, meaning the implantation, and she will just say, "Oh, the blastocyst failed to implant." Right? She's dehumanizing this very valuable, very incredible, incredibly developed, smarter than she ever will be. Right? These new babies are smarter than us. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. Every new child that is born is sure, some losers and all this stuff, but there's a potential of having a very, very, high IQ person that will solve all the problems of the world. And she's going ahead and destroying embryos, right? That's literally her job, right? She thinks that's her job, but it's not, right? She belongs into the prison or eternal hell. Anyway, so that's really, really, really terrible to see this kind of thing happening, and then not only to see this thing happening, but everybody just going along with the Blue Jays and everything like that. The Blue Jays is more important than saving our society, right? Every new season that comes in for the Blue Jays game, right? There's that many more children that are lost, and the childbearing potential is lower and lower and lower, and the birth rate, the children that are actually born are going down, and they're just playing baseball, right? They're so distracted, and they just cannot accept the truth, right? I don't know what's up with this Blue Jays thing. I don't know. It's really interesting to them or something like that. But my channel here is so boring. Right? It's so boring. Me talking. But you know how I know it's not, because this PhD lawyer was listening to me, and she was like, and her I don't know what, I think her husband's a doctor or something like that. She was like, "Yes, what you're saying is valid. Your complaint is valid, right?" Oh, I told her about the regulatory commission too, the regulatory board, the College of Surgeons, Physicians and Surgeons of Nova Scotia, the regulatory agency. The regulatory agency and their dismissal of my valid complaint. I told her about that, and she was like, "Wow, that's really something that is." Well, you have to learn these things in the real world. You cannot learn about it in the classroom. You cannot learn about it. You have to learn it in the real world. You have to have such a terrible thing that happens to you to be able to file a complaint, to be able to get a response. The dismissal. Very, very clearly is going to be dismissed because that's what they do. They don't care about protecting the patients from the doctor's negligence, right? They care about protecting the doctors from the complaints. Eh? Let me say that again. They don't care. That's not their job, is to protect the patients from the doctor's negligence. No, 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 no. That would be like what a regulatory agency is supposed to do. No, this is what they do. They they protect the doctors from the complaints. Anyway, we talked about that in the previous videos. You can check that out. The Gus Grant thing. You can check. You just type in Gus Grant or just looking for Gus Grant. Gus Grant is the guy. The guy. That guy. I cannot. He's got a PhD. He's up the wing, right? But what he wrote was beyond what can adequately be, you know, considered to be perversion of truth and justice. I don't know even how to put it to you, but you just got to read it to yourself. I mean, if you're interested, you can read the book. Anyway, she's all interested in reading the book, but I was like, should I give it to her? See, the people in China, this is my Chinese student. She's a Chinese lawyer and all this stuff. Anyway, she's fluent in English. I don't know why she's in my class because I teach English and she probably doesn't speak English better than I do because I speak pretty good English. I'm a fairly knowledgeable gentleman, but she's very good, and as you know, I was teaching her some really advanced legal terms and all this stuff. I didn't go into the declaratory relief class action though. That's what I should do. That's what I should do. I really should do that. The class action lawsuit for declaratory relief, not for damages, right? For declaratory relief. Is that a thing? Can you actually do a declaratory relief class action? Most certainly, yeah, most certainly. You can, right? And that is rare. It's extremely rare. But in this case, I mean, it's the only thing that it could actually work, potentially, to be able to get to the discovery and to grill her. Oh, that evil monster! Oh man, that evil monster at a discovery. That would be like 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 a barbecue with your friends with the hot pot and that would be like just the best. But we have to like I said, in the previous videos I said is they're going to try everything, summary judgment and all this. So let's say for example, okay, let's take for example, and I didn't mention this in my class, but I will the next class. Let's say for example we file a class action for declaratory relief, and we survive the summary judgment motion. Oh, oh, she's got to be, and she cannot plead the fifth, right? Like we talked to my other, she can't plead the fifth because any, but she can't be held criminally responsible because the country's a whack. But she won't be. She has to answer the questions because if she doesn't answer, the negative will be inferred, and also if she doesn't answer the question, or she does answer the question, sorry, if she does answer the questions, that cannot be used in a criminal case to convict, right? Yeah. So in a civil case, they must answer. You cannot plead the fifth. You have to answer the questions, right? So that would really stick her in a pot of boiling water, right? And the only thing I really want is for this to stop, or at least get her to, get her to acknowledge the truth, or better yet, blow the whistle. I mean, she knows everything that I'm saying. She knows everything that I'm saying, and she still goes along. I don't know. I don't actually know how she can do that. I don't know how she can go ahead and still do it and pretend like destroying embryos is like not the worst possible imaginable transgression that you can ever come up with. I mean, I'm trying to think of like forgery. That's a terrible crime. Home invasions. I don't know. Like, what's the crime in a criminal code? Like a treason and all this stuff. Like a treason, whatever. High treason. That's pretty bad. Theft. Grand theft. Idolatry. Whatever. You got all these crimes and transgressions and all this stuff. I cannot think of anything that's more serious than literally this. Right. Let's think of other crimes. What do we get here? We get you know adultery. Oh man. I could never do that. I could never like cheat on my wife. I could never do that. Oh my wife very much. Right? She gave me four babies. I have 7 kids, but you know how they are in that part of the world. You got to have birth control pills over there. So the birth control pills, all the stuff. All of a sudden, they go crazy. They go absolutely nuts because I don't know. Elon Musk said something about that. I don't know if it's true that women that take birth control pills go nuts, and then all of a sudden, they break up the family for no reason. I didn't do anything wrong to them. I'm sick and tired of getting smashed all the time by a woman, but I got pretty used to that. I got used to that real quick because, I mean, you can't complain about that because you're a man. And you can't complain about getting smashed by your woman because who's going to believe you anyway because you're a man. Women don't do that. No, no, no. And they certainly don't do the double standard thing where they, a strong, independent woman, 1 minute, and then they're weak and vulnerable in the court where they're, oh, I'm so weak and vulnerable and all this stuff. They're weak and vulnerable, then she's a strong, independent woman with a welfare case number. Well, welfare case number 567 whatever. Strong, independent woman. No! See, the thing is that our society is being wrecked. And there's no reason I would have broken up with my kid's mom, right? But I don't know, I guess, and not thankfully it did, but it did happen. You know, I'm not saying thankfully it did. I'm not saying that at all. I didn't see my kids in like 7 years. I miss them very much. That sucks. I really miss them. But apparently I'm some terrible, terrible abusive. And can you specify that abuse? And here's the answer every time. If you don't know what you did, I'm not going to tell you what you did. You got to figure it out for yourself. Right? That's the same thing every time. And it's just emotionally charged nonsense. Oh, she's a radical feminist now. Oh yeah, anyway. I don't want to talk about her. I want to talk about my wife. My wife is pregnant with my seventh child. With my seventh child. It's 7 children here in the world, yeah. And I'm surely going to protect them. And for me, protecting them is to make sure that they live in a place where, you know, literally all the girls are on birth control pills. No, that's nonsense. What kind of world are you? What kind of filth are you putting into the world, right? Dr. Michelin, I mean, that's what she does. She's putting filth in the world, and she's exceedingly guilty. She's exceedingly guilty of an incredible transgression. I mean, this thing is wrong. Anyway, so I was talking about that to my lawyer student, and she was interested. And I was like, well, that's kind of restoring my faith in this, because I'm not losing faith because I know the probative value is 100%. Right? I'm not, saying that I'm not true. Anything that I say, it's not true. I hope it's not true, but nobody has corrected me. If you or anybody you know have any type of corrections, okay. So what I'm saying is that the birth control pill does not actually prevent pregnancy. It causes, the death of the fertilized egg of the child, the baby boy or baby girl, in the womb, at the implantation stage, right? The baby's supposed to be attached into the womb of his or her mother, like we all did. Right? That's literally what I did when I was, at that stage. See, you got the zygotic, the zygotic stage, right? The zygotic genome activation happens, the blastocyst, the morula, and all this stuff. Check that out. Embryology is really great. It really cemented my belief in intelligent design. I mean, it's I don't know how you can look at embryology, objectively and say, oh yeah, sure, certainly the Big Bang and primordial soup and monkeys were our grandfathers. It's either one or the other, man. It's either intelligent design or the primordial soup kind of stuff, right? If you want to go primordial soup, then yeah, I guess it's okay to kill infant children to the literally the earliest stage of pregnancy, right? It's not so evil. That's how they do it, right? I discovered their secret. I've been trying to broadcast it to the world. See, the problem is there's so much AI garbage on the internet these days that my channel will be suppressed, right? So, I mean, how should I even get this information out into the world? Well, maybe it's not my responsibility to figure that out. I'm not going to do some marketing or something like that, but if somebody really wants to find it, they will find it. They will find the truth, just like I did. They will find the truth. They really want to find it. And for example, I found out all this stuff about, this stuff that I was talking about on the other videos, cutting the evil, learning about the evil to cut it out of your life. All right, well, anyway, I'm building a floor. I didn't even tell my wife I'm building a floor on top of my head here. I'm building a whole addition to the house anyway, so I'll see you. Bye-bye.